Hello. This is the second video for our first day with it as well. So let me talk to you about a little bit about the the virtual desktop with this and how you approach this at the virtual desktop or installing all the software onto your personal computer with it. First of all, that's the fork in the road, by the way. Either you are welcome to use my virtual desktop or install all the software on your personal computer. This is an or. This or this. If those of you that never work with a virtual desktop, you can access my desktop, meaning how I configure all this software for you. You can access it in a web browser. So that's what this video is about. If you're welcome to try it, see how it works with it. Like I said, it doesn't require much. All you need is internet and a web browser to access the process with it. So if you go to class exercises, and I released the first one. It's called class exercise number 1, getting started with HTML. You click on it, and I have like 4 steps here with it. And I'd like for you to follow these steps in sequential in these parts with it, so you understand what's going on with it. So let me talk first about the virtual desktop. Let's download that document with it, and here it is. Excuse me. And again, I use virtual desktop for all my other courses as well. So once you download this, let me magnify this document a little bit more. I use this for all across the board. Like I said, it's one of these things that to access the virtual desktop, again, internet access, access to a cell phone and a web browser with it as well. So, like I said, you need to have, when I say access to a cell phone, meaning that you do need some, to set this up with it, you do need a 2-step authentication with it as well. But there are 3 advantages that when you use it's a Microsoft product. It's called Azure Virtual Desktop with it. And the way how it works is what's really nice about Virtual Desktop. One is security. You got to have what's called an MFA, a 2-step authentication with it. So not anybody off the street can walk in and use this as well. That's the security part with it. Software license, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. The college is covering all the software license with it. And the other thing is we don't have to worry about different versions of software. You know, Joe is installing this version, Sally over here is installing another version, Dan's using another version. You have a Mac, you have an operating system that's Windows 10, Windows 11, all sorts of different type of issues with it as well. The Microsoft Remote Desktop Connection is what you would access it just exactly how you would see it on your computer through a web browser with it. All right. So I give you this video with it, how to step you through with it. Just copy or open up this link right here, copy your code on your control key and click on it. It opens up a browser. Watch the video with the process and how I have you do all this stuff with it. So step 1, 2, and 3, and step number 4 is the last, is to access the part that your part is at the bottom of the list with it. So I have installed Microsoft Visual Code. I've installed FileZilla to connect to the web server. I'm going to send out the email with the username, password, and all the software you need for the class with it, like Photoshop, for example. Okay, so watch this and just step through this step by step with it. You got to have, most of you should have an MFA already, right? Because you registered for class, you did your eConnect with it. You know, with starting May the 13th this last summer, they moved all the students to an MFA authentication with it. So you have to be able to do this. So so this first step should be easy with you. I just want to clarify one thing, is that what's called an E7. E7 is your student login with your 7-digit student ID at student.dcccd.edu, plus your password, right? So, like I said, I do not handle any MFA to access eCampus. You have to call the student student support line to access this as well. So, if you do not do step number 1 for the MFA, you're not going to be able to access the virtual desktop. That's step number 1 with it as well. Again, I give you information about the technical support, how-tos, and all the stuff with it. So anytime when I refer to an E7, it's your E with your 7-digit student ID. Please note down here that if you are a student or a student worker or a work-study student or if you have employment that works for the Dallas College, you also have what's called a 3x4 login with it as well. These are 2 different things here, folks, with it. So please log in with as a student as your E7, if you're working as a work study or you're working on campus part-time somewhere, full-time somewhere, that you also have a 3x4. If you don't know what a 3x4 is, ignore it. All right, you're not a staff or employee on college with it. All right. The reason is step number 2 is very important because you need to be able to connect to the Microsoft OneDrive, and I encourage you to take advantage of the Microsoft OneDrive because it's a virtual cloud storage that you can log in with your E7, and you can store things on the virtual desktop, and when you get home you can also access this as well. This is vital. Is essential that you will need to store everything in your OneDrive with it, have it back up, and it's free. So that's the beauty of this thing. It doesn't cost you anything with it as well. So I also show you a way how to open your web browser in incognito mode. Incognito mode means that it doesn't cache in your login and all that stuff with it. So it's nice to use a web browser. It doesn't store your cache, your login, past login, and all that stuff. So watch this video right here on step number 2. I talk to you all about that right now with it. All right, and then I talk to you about step number 3. How do you connect to the virtual desktop? If you haven't done it, then I encourage you to try this. Just try this with it as well. So this is very new. I'm actually the first course in the district to use this. Isn't this cool or what? All right. So I have like 30 logins for you guys to have access to this, and I'd like for you to try this. I'd like for you to try both. Try connecting to the virtual desktop and see how the look and feel for it with it as well. I do want to remind you this is that just some best practice when you connect to this thing, because you're going to be repeating to do username and password constantly with this. So have your phone nearby. Make sure it's charged with it, and you're going to have to do that 2-step authentication several times with it. So I know it's annoying, but hey, don't kill the messenger. The other thing is I also recommend you having a notepad open where you can copy and paste your username password to access it. It's going to prompt you several times to do this. All right, so it just helps if you just have a copy and paste. To connect to a web browser, you see this link right here? It starts with HTTP. Highlight that and copy this. Just copy it. And open up a web browser. I'm gonna use a different web browser than I use in Firefox, just to keep things looking different with it as well with it. So I'm gonna open up Edge. It looks like this. All right, so this is Edge. It's loading. The best browser is look to your username hasn't said. Oh no. Okay, so choose a different account. Okay, that's right. I forgot. My apology. I logged in as a DXD as my faculty. I need to log in as my as my E7 I was telling you about with it. So I can't access this with it. I apologize, because I need to log out in my other stuff that I'm doing. I can't do that right now with it. But I have a video. All this is shown in the video above with it as well, right? So here, this video right here, how to connect to a virtual desktop. Please watch that, okay? Some of the stuff I'm telling you right now, please read through this. This is just really nice practice with it as well. So you're going to connect to the OneDrive. Please note, after don't be confused. And here's the other tricky part, is that make sure you know what operating system you're at, all right? Because after a while, you're gonna be confused. Am I in the virtual desktop or am I in my actual desktop with it? So it does get kind of blurry at the time with it. So here's what I recommend you to do: is either change your actual desktop with a different wallpaper or a desktop paper, and then when you see the virtual desktop, it has that Windows logo on there. So that's just a little practice with it as well. Again, we're dealing with technology. Be patient. System will crash. All this will happen. Like I said, it's technology with it as well. Watch the video here with it. So there are some parts on here that I'm not going to do. For example, how to connect virtual desktop with a virtual remote desktop. I'm not going to do that video yet, but I'd like for you to watch this video right here, connecting through a web browser at this time with it. All right, to access the software of the courses. Demonstrate how I'm going to show you how to connect to the OneDrive and the virtual desktop with it, and that's how you actually get your files out of your virtual desktop, to store things on the OneDrive, and then when you get home, log in, or where your other desktop, you can pull your files out of that from your virtual desktop with it as well. Again, I have other courses that I teach. I only did this for our course, which is the Web Design 1 with it, but this document it's designed for all the courses that I teach in the Dallas College with it as well. So again, this will conclude the first instruction for the video with it, but I do want, before I want for us to leave, look at class as number 1. So that is this document right here. Step number 2, I would like for you to watch this and do these commands about file management. Understand how file management works. Do step number 2, do step number 3, and then when you get started with your HTML, the next video is this right here with it as well. Okay, so I will stop the video right now, and I will continue the second part. Stay tuned.